Hey, get us our cracks. Got a question for you, dude. Stephen Avery says that Teresa took a left on Highway 147. Well, Teresa's supposed to be taking a right, going back south, not north, to get back home, if she's going back home. Okay. So that's interesting enough. You see, she was at the Zipners first, and she arrived driving northbound on Highway 147 and took a left on Avey Road. Then when she was heading back out, she was at Avey Road and Highway 147, she takes a left. She's supposed to take a right. Taking a left is a long way home. Taking a right is a short way back home. Okay. Well, anyway, notwithstanding that, what's interesting to me is that Teresa's T with the blue bob on it is sitting on the counter at Teresa's house. The key to her rapport sitting on the counter at her home. Not only that, but her day planner is also at home. And she took it with her. And one more thing. Why is Stephen P. Smith's check at Teresa Marie Halbach's home when he wrote it to her that day? So how did his check writing to Teresa, she took his check, end up back at her house again? So we got her T back home. We got her daily planner back home. And we have posted Stephen P. Smith bit with a D on the end back at Teresa's house. Back at her home. Her home. How does that happen? How do you do that, Ken? And Stephen Avery, Brendan Dassey killed her and burned her in the pit, which is bullshit. Which is not correct. Not correct. Didn't burn. Cracks, yeah. You are an idiot, aren't you? Stephen Avery and Brendan Dassey burned Teresa Marie Halbach up a complete whole and one body, not dismembered, okay, in his burn pit. And you came up with that, and that flew? Christ. I'm a firefighter. Didn't happen that way. Okay. I got on the phone, contacted the fire department, Two Rivers Fire Department. And I told him, the fire chief, I told him, no way. He smelt the burning body. He knows that didn't happen. So you have a fire chief in Two Rivers Fire Department where you held your press conference and you said Teresa was burned up, and he just stood there with his mouth shut. Teresa's not burned up in Stephen Avery's pit. Crats. Just didn't happen. So, how is her key back home? How is her daily planner back home? And how is Stephen P. Smith's, with a D on the end of its check, at Teresa's residence? And the other thing is, I got an aerial photograph of the dairy farm. It's a dairy farm. So they have a dairy farm. Well, I searched the whole area over and on Google, and they don't show any cows in the field. There's no cows grazing, and all that land all that land is not pasture land. It's got rows in it where you cut down hay. It's a hay field. There ain't no cows in it. There's a big red barn. That barn's for hay. I don't see any cow trails going to the barn. I don't see any cows at that residence, the Hallbox residence. I don't see any cows. Oh, well, that's just merely an observation. I do see a barn that holds a lot of hay. And I see a hay field that you actually go up there and harvest hay. I don't see cows. I don't see where you milk cows. You know, I was on a farm and I worked squeegeeing cow shit every day, milking time. We just squeegee that cow shit out. I did that for months. Okay, and anyway, yeah, you have a lot of milk stuff. It's a process. You got big stainless steel tanks and stuff like that. Trucks got it. And all you got is one big red barn. That's it. You got the house, the big red barn. I don't see no cows anywhere. Oh, well. Anyway, the question is, I have to ask you, Ken, and everybody else out there on YouTube land, how did Teresa's key get back on the counter at her house in the kitchen? How did her daily planner end up back at her house in her bedroom? And how did Stephen P. Smith's dead check get back to Teresa's residence? Yeah. That's a question for you there, kid. How did Stephen and Brendan get those items back to Teresa's house? Okay. How'd that happen?